A few weeks back, my family and I took a camping trip to Governor Dodge State Park, just southwest of Madison. And it's an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful state park with plenty of hiking, a waterfall, 2 lakes, 2 beaches. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous state park. Highly recommended. Well, our campsite in the state park was in a very wooded area, which was nice when it was hot during the day because we had plenty of shade. But at night, when we were sitting around our campfire, we couldn't see too many stars because of all the trees. Well, on our last night at Governor Dodge, I had to run an errand. And the closest Quick Trip was about a 15-minute drive because we were quite a bit of ways away from any civilization. So I'm driving through the quiet roads of the state park, and I approached this clearing where there's not many trees. And I looked out my window, and it was the clearest night, and the number of stars that I saw out my window just blew my mind. I couldn't recall a time I've seen so many stars. And so I couldn't help it. I pulled off to the side of the road. I turned off my car. I got out of my car and I just stood there staring at the sky for like 10 minutes, just marveling at how many stars I could see. It was a gorgeous, beautiful sight. And seeing all of those stars reminded me of an important gospel truth, that God always keeps his promises, even the ones that seem impossible from our perspective. Perhaps you've heard of a guy named Abraham. He's an important person in the Bible. You see, God promised Abraham that he would have a family and that his descendants would become a great nation. But that promise seemed impossible at the time because both Abraham and his wife Sarah were well past the stage of having children when God made that promise. And yet God still made that promise. And we're actually told in Genesis 15 verses 5 and 6, we're told that God took Abraham outside and he said to him, "Look up at the sky and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then God said to him, "So shall your offspring be." And Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. And wouldn't you know it, but God sure did keep that promise. It took 25 years, but it was God's perfect timing. God kept that promise. Even though Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah, his wife, was 90, God blessed them with a son, Isaac. And that marked the beginning of God keeping that promise that he had made so many years ago, that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky. And that's exactly what happened. We're told in Hebrews 11 verse 12, "And so from this one man," talking about Abraham, "and he as good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky." Of course, Abraham's descendants would become a great nation, the nation of Israel. So yes, God kept his promise, even though it seemed impossible. Perhaps there's a promise that God has made that you're waiting for God to fulfill. And maybe you're waiting on that promise because you're concerned about some things. Maybe you're concerned about your health, or maybe you're concerned about the future. Maybe you're concerned about finances, or maybe you're concerned about someone else that you love. And you're just waiting for God to keep his promise, whatever that promise may be. And the more you wait, the more it seems like it's impossible that God won't keep that promise. But then you also remember what God told Abraham and what God did for Abraham. And you remember that God does keep all of his promises, even the ones that seem impossible from our perspective. I pray that that is a comfort to you. So next time you go outside at night and you take a look at all of the stars that are in the sky, remember that wonderful, comforting gospel truth, that God always keeps his promises, even the ones that seem impossible. If this devotion has been a blessing to you, then please like and share with others. God's blessings to you all.